a collection of facts proving Her Majesty has both a love of life and an untouchable sense of humor. In 2022, Queen Elizabeth II celebrated her Platinum Jubilee, the 70th anniversary of her accession to the throne. Over the course of her record-breaking reign, the Queen witnessed unprecedented social, cultural and political change and traveled extensively throughout the United Kingdom, Canada, and the wider Commonwealth. Here are 12 interesting facts about the long and eventful life and reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Hello and welcome to my channel. Please do well to hit the subscribe button, like and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news update. Number 1. Queen Elizabeth never went to school. However, that doesn't mean she's uneducated. Elizabeth, childhood nicknamed Lilibet, was taught by private tutors at home, Hello Magazine reported. The same went for her younger sister, Princess Margaret. Number 2. She was actually related to the man she married. Technically, Elizabeth and her husband, Philip, were third cousins. Elizabeth was related to Queen Victoria on her father's side, and Philip was related to Queen Victoria on his mother's side. Philip was born into the royal families of Greece and Denmark but renounced his original titles when he married Elizabeth. They were married for 73 years before his death on April 9, 2021. Number 3. She wasn't born an heir apparent to the throne. For the first 10 years of her life, Princess Elizabeth was a relatively minor royal. Her status was akin to Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie of York today, but that all changed with the death of her grandfather, King George V, in 1936. The next in the line of royal succession was Elizabeth's uncle, Edward VIII, who abdicated the throne less than a year after taking it so that he could marry an American socialite named Wallis Simpson. Edward didn't have any children at the time, so his brother Albert, Elizabeth's father, ascended to the throne, taking the name George VI and making the then 10-year-old Elizabeth the first in line to become queen. Number 4. She paid for her wedding dress using war ration coupons. Still reeling from an atmosphere of post-war austerity, Elizabeth used ration coupons and a 200 coupon supplement from the government to pay for her wedding dress. But don't be fooled, the dress was extremely elegant. It was made of ivory duchesse silk, encrusted with 10,000 imported seed pearls, took 6 months to make, and sported a 13-foot train. It cost just under $40,000 to recreate the dress for the crown. Number 5. She survived an assassination attempt. During the 1981 Trooping the Colour, the Queen led a royal procession on horseback down the Mall toward Buckingham Palace when shots rang out. A 17-year-old named Marcus Sargent, who was obsessed with the assassinations of figures like John Lennon and John F. Kennedy, fired a series of blanks toward Elizabeth. Sargent, who wrote in his diary, "I am going to stun and mystify the whole world with nothing more than a gun," was thankfully unable to purchase live ammunition in the UK. He received a prison sentence of 5 years under the 1848 Treason Act, but was released in October 1984. Number 6. Queen Elizabeth II technically owned all the dolphins in the UK. In addition to owning all of the country's dolphins, she owned all the sturgeon and whales, too. A still valid statute from the reign of King Edward II in 1324 states, "Also the king shall have whales and sturgeons taken in the sea or elsewhere within the realm," meaning most aquatic creatures are technically labeled fishes royal, and are claimed on behalf of the crown. Number 7. She didn't tell her parents she was getting hitched. In 1946, Philip proposed to Elizabeth when the former planned a month-long visit to Balmoral, her royal estate in Scotland. She accepted the proposal without even contacting her parents. But when George VI finally caught wind of the pending nuptials, he would only officially approve if they waited to announce the engagement until after her 21st birthday. The official public announcement of the engagement finally came nearly a year later on July 9, 1947. Number 8. Queen Elizabeth II had 2 birthdays. Like most British monarchs, Elizabeth got to celebrate her birthday twice, and the reason why boils down to seasonably appropriate pomp and circumstance. She was born on April 21, 1926, but April was deemed too cold and liable to fall during inclement weather. So instead, her official state-recognized birthday occurred on a Saturday in late May, or more typically June, so that the celebration could be held during warmer months. The specific date varied year to year in the UK, and usually coincided with Trooping the Colour, Britain's annual military pageant. Number 9. Queen Elizabeth II didn't need a passport to travel. She didn't need a driver's license either. Elizabeth II was the world's most well-traveled head of state, visiting more than 115 countries between hundreds of official state visits, but she didn't even own a passport. Since all British passports are officially issued in the Queen's name, she technically did not need one, and it wasn't just because she had a fleet of chauffeurs. Britain also officially issues driver's licenses in Elizabeth's name. Sir Sherard Cooper-Coles, former British ambassador to Saudi Arabia, recounted to the Sunday Times the time when Elizabeth drove former Saudi Crown Prince Abdullah around the grounds of Balmoral. To his surprise, the Queen climbed into the driving seat, turned the ignition and drove off, he said. Women are not yet allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia, and Abdullah was not used to being driven by a woman, let alone a queen. Number 10. Gin was her drink of choice. Before Queen Elizabeth II's doctors advised her to quit drinking, she was said to enjoy gin mixed with Dubonnet, a fortified wine, and a slice of lemon on the rocks every day before lunch. She also reportedly had a glass of champagne every evening. Number 11. Her coronation was televised against her wishes. Elizabeth officially ascended to the throne at just 25 years of age when her father, George VI, died on February 6, 1952. Elizabeth was in Kenya at the time of his death and returned home as her country's queen. As fans of the crown will remember, the hubbub surrounding her coronation was filled with ample amounts of drama. The notoriously camera-shy Elizabeth, who didn't even allow photos to be taken of her wedding, didn't want the event televised, and others believed that broadcasting the coronation to commoners would break down upper-class traditions of only allowing members of British high society to witness the event. A coronation commission, chaired by Philip, was set up to weigh the options, and they initially decided to only allow cameras in a single area of Westminster Abbey west of the organ screen, before allowing the entire thing to be televised with one minor caveat: no close-ups on Elizabeth's face. Number 12. Queen Elizabeth II and her husband knew each other since childhood. Philip, son of Prince Andrew of Greece and Denmark and Princess Alice of Battenberg, first met Elizabeth when she was only 8 years old and he was 14. Both attended the wedding of Princess Marina of Greece, Prince Philip's cousin, and Prince George, the Duke of Kent, Elizabeth's uncle. 5 years later, the pair met again when George VI brought Elizabeth to tour the Royal Naval College in Dartmouth, where Philip was a cadet. In a personal note, Elizabeth recalled falling for the young soldier in the making. I was 13 years of age and he was 18 and a cadet just due to leave. He joined the Navy at the outbreak of war, and I only saw him very occasionally when he was on leave, I suppose about twice in 3 years, she wrote. Then when his uncle and aunt, Lord and Lady Mountbatten, were away, he spent various weekends away with us at Windsor. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave comments and to like and subscribe. Thank you.